Hi, I'm Dr. David Targan, and welcome to BioDigest. Though patients have benefited from biotechnology's improved methods for diagnosing, treating, and preventing illness, patients still need support, education, and representation when confronted with disease. Patient advocacy groups fill this crucial role of aiding patient communities in many ways. Some organizations have also begun directing their resources to biotech companies to encourage further research and development of potential therapies.
Patient advocacy groups play really a very, very critical part in providing the support that patients need to feel that they have a voice.
So patient advocacy groups allow for blogging, community, resources, education. It's really tremendous, the vast volume of information that they're able to get to people across the country and around the world about these diseases that afflict their family members.
I think in the last 15, 20 years, disease advocacy and patient advocacy is kind of a new specialty. And I think it's one of the great untapped resources in terms of enacting public policy change in this country. These patients and their caregivers and the parents and the family of people with diseases and illnesses and conditions realize how much power they have, particularly on Capitol Hill and in the perception of the public and in the media. There is nothing more successful than putting the face of a cause on a cause, putting a real human face on a condition.
Patient advocacy itself has actually changed over the years, and we often think of patient advocacy as a mom and dad who has a child who's diagnosed with, say, juvenile diabetes, and they raise money, advocate on behalf of more funding for NIH research, and support basic science. New model of patient advocacy are these very well-developed, very organized grassroots advocates who lobby on the Hill, who educate members of Congress, who bring their kids and their families, and then you actually have another tier of patient foundations who are recognizing that National Institutes of Health is not going to make a product that will make their child better, but instead they're funding industry and helping to sort of bridge that gap from government funding to private industry. We're seeing this model, which is known as venture philanthropy, emerging more and more every day.
Philanthropies are there to take risk in high-risk arenas. In health, philanthropies play a critical role in bridging the gap between where there's an unmet medical need and where industry might come in later on. We want to capture the entrepreneurial spirit of people interested in biotechnology. Our foundation will actually fund the startup of biotech companies, or we will fund early-stage companies that have novel ideas that are deemed too high risk for investors.
We've actually had a lot of luck in the last year in securing and developing partnerships with small biotech companies who provide drugs to our researchers to be tested in preclinical mouse models, as well as in clinical trials.
These early-stage companies are looking for credibility and networking among investors and scientists. We're telling the investor world that this company has a program of great scientific value.
At the Biotechnology Industry Organization's annual international convention, patient advocacy groups are provided numerous opportunities to connect with scientists, business leaders, and researchers.
Every year at the Bio International Convention, we invite a number of patient advocacy groups to come and display, which I think is just an amazing opportunity for people to meet them and them to meet our companies and also our investors.
I've had Parkinson's since I was in my 30s. I'm quite a visual at this point of why we're all here at the convention. We're kind of like walking demonstrations of why it's so important to be here to do drug research. It's networking at its best. There's people from all over the world here, and I learn about what people are working on and what people are looking for funding for that hasn't even begun yet. So I can't say enough about how bio and bringing everybody together is helpful in fostering just research. I mean, we're looking for drug treatments. We're looking for a treatment.
The relationship between patient advocacy groups and biotech companies has really matured and reached a point where we're seeing real results. And Bio has been an incredible advocate for all the nonprofits, all the patient groups. They make it possible for patient advocacy groups to have representatives here and to bring our story and even bring our patients to the biotech and pharma community.
I was diagnosed in 1987 with HIV/AIDS. That was 22 years ago when there was no treatment, there was no intervention, and no one cared. We were desperate and people were dying, so we had nothing to lose. But what we did was we organized, we spoke with one voice, and we coalesced around a cause, and it was very successful. We took funding from zero to billions. We got Congress to pass legislation that till this day impacts people with HIV/AIDS all around the world. There isn't a disease I know about today or patient condition that isn't affected by the work that we did early on.
My own background is in science, and I left science to go into patient advocacy work, really because it's great to see the results. There's an incredible reward, an incredible sense that you're actually changing people's lives.
The hope that a foundation provides is we're only in this to the day that we don't have to be anymore. We are here to carry you over this time, and our hope is that we don't need to exist.
It actually does impact change. It does sometimes get more funding for their disease or for the research toward their disease. It makes them more educated on how to live with their disease. It can make their quality of life better in dealing with the side effects that come with their disease. It gives them hope, and I think that the hope, it's all about the hope.
With the diverse work and commitment of patient advocacy groups and their important relationships with the biotechnology industry, living with disease has greatly improved for millions of people around the world. For BioDigest, I'm Dr. David Targan.